What's going on, everybody? Happy Sunday afternoon. How's it going out there? I don't know, what is only like a couple people here? Yeah, I spelled Kaspa wrong in the title, so I edited it. I put Kapsa and I refreshed. So like refresh if you want to see that update. But yeah, what's going on out there? It's a slightly green day. Some things are pumping. Tau is up. We got Morpho up, but Tau is still doing good. Still being strong as usual. Quite a few things here. Got Walrus. One thing was doing good. How's Kita doing? Kita is up 56%. Yeah. Kita and Giggle is still in the game too. So we're gonna see what's going to go on with these. See if we're gonna get a correction. And I doubt it's going to correct too much, but we'll see. We'll see. I've been saying it's been really it's going to be really dependent on the government shutdown, right? So hold up. What happens? Because I found this news right here and I was like, okay, we have 10 days left until the FOMC meeting with a 100% chance of interest rate cuts. So, I don't know. I don't know. How does that work? I really don't know. With the government shut down and there's no reports, there's no economic reports, how does that work with the FOMC meeting? Do they secretly know about the reports and just everybody else knows? Like, how would they make a judgment if they don't have the reports? So that's the thing that remains in question. But looking through some things here, and I was like, this is my feeling exactly. I'm not leaving Kaspa. I'm not leaving. I'm not selling Kaspa. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm still haven't sold. I'm not selling. And I got plenty of other tokens to play around with and to make money with, and just stack more Kaspa. Because in the long run, Kaspa is going to be grand. I think that I keep making that argument that when everybody reaches a psychological bottom of a particular project and they start selling, that's when it usually takes off, right? I make that comparison to Toshi of last year. It didn't do too well during the last run up when Trump got elected. Toshi didn't do too well, but it did well afterwards. And it's been doing well this year. Same scenario happened with XRP. Same thing with Solana and so on. So I'm holding the line. Hold on. You guys are quiet today. What's going on? Not kind of chatty today? If anybody wants to drop an answer to this question, I got two answers in my last live stream. What do you think gets to 5K first, ETH or gold? Right? One person said ETH, another person said gold. So I don't know. We'll see. Hold on. Let's see how. What do you think is going to get to 5K first? I think it's going to be Ethereum. What's going on? There we go. Yeah. You think ETH too, right? Yeah, I think it's gonna be ETH. Let's see, gold. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think it'll be ETH. Once ETH just starts flying. I mean, it's a good day today. I didn't even check total crypto market cap. Yeah, so we got a good daily candle right here. From 3.9 trillion up to 364. Yeah, I mean hopefully things are good. Well, we'll see. I bet you that a lot of people are going to be shorting because they think that it's going to come back down. But then it might just go up. But we don't know. It's really this is a really difficult conundrum we got. So it's really difficult to predict with this whole government shutdown thing and what's going to happen next. What's going on with Venezuela? Venezuela, some news brewing. Like then I heard there's other news about Hamas and Israel breaks a ceasefire agreement. So we got some turbulent times out there that might produce some bad news this coming week. So we'll see. Manu and ETH to $1 billion. Yeah, I didn't get into Manu. I hold some little Manu that I bought last year. Little Manu. I thought it was going to do pretty good. And it was that they're making good content with that cute little dog. But I guess this is like the next evolution of it. This new Manu coin from this year. Well, we'll see. Kaspa. I was just looking through some of the Kaspa posts because of all this stuff going on with Kaspa. And I keep seeing so many people saying that they're selling their Kaspa. I'm getting like crazy amounts of comments on my videos saying the Kaspa is the worst thing ever. And then you got other people, they're selling like 5% of their Kaspa, they're selling like 10% of their Kaspa. I think it's a bad idea. But it all depends on your situation, right? Like if you're like really, really young, 18, 19 years old, and you have some really simple job, the typical McDonald's job, and you may not want to put all your money into Kaspa for this coming run up, right? You might want to have a mix of like the some of the less the higher market cap, less risk layer ones, and maybe some of the others should be like the high risk, high reward meme coins. Situations like that. If you have a portfolio under $5,000 or something like that. But in the long run, I mean, unless you want to just put like, a few bucks a week, whatever it is that if you have a simple job, you're putting $20 a week in the Kaspa for the next 2 years. I would imagine you be able to quit that job in a couple of years. So it's all whatever floats your boat and so on, right? But the Kaspa community is leveling up. Bold statement about the Kaspa movement mentioned directly in his message away from Bitcoin versus cash toward Bitcoin and Kaspa, gold and silver, store and speed, strength through diversity. This is an interesting read here if you want to take a look at. I mean, there's a nice chart over here. This measures this is silver, Kaspa, and fiat currency. So durable, and then it has explanations on the right. So yeah, divisible. Silver is not. I mean, I suppose it is somewhere or another. Silver is divisible, but fungible. Obviously, fiat is not. Portable. Kaspa checks all the boxes except for the track record, right? Because it hasn't been around for a while. Obviously, the track record of fiat currency is very, very bad, even though it's been around for a while. And silver has been around for a while, and it has a good track record. But yeah, it was very interesting to read through all this. Exactly, a bright future. Yeah, I think it does have a bright future. And the thing is, like, the market starts pumping over the next few weeks or so, on until the end of the year. It's questionable whether or not Kaspa will pump or not. Right? The expectation is that it might not get higher than 30 cents and things like that. But what if it goes to, what if it really does start pumping? What if? I don't know if you should start selling, but it all depends on your portfolio. If you have like a portfolio that's like 90% Kaspa, then yeah, I get it. But if you got a portfolio that's like 40% Kaspa, I don't know. All depends on how much you got. But I don't know. I don't think it's a good idea to start selling, especially when you reach the psychological bottom. So we have this. I wanted to get into a couple couple other backstories. I definitely put Warren Buffett on the thumbnail because the idea with Warren Buffett. Did I not have an article with Warren Buffett pulled up? Oh, I guess not. Oh well. Yeah, I have Bitcoin stories and so on. But yeah, with Warren Buffett, obviously right now I think he's 95 years old. I don't know how, but I have a video that I'm going to leave you guys in the end. I did a video about a guy named Ronald Reed. And I think I did this video maybe 2022 or 2023. Sometimes I leave you guys with one of my older videos at the end of my live stream. But it was, it's a quick video. It was like less than 3 minutes long. It was like about a guy that was 92 years old. He was just a retired janitor. And he was so frugal and he dressed in old clothing that was patched up and stuff. And when he passed away, they found out that he had like $8 million worth of stocks. It was crazy. Like, why was he living like that too? But, and he was like the same age, exactly as Warren Buffett, and had like some of the similar stocks that Warren Buffett had and so on. But the thing is with Warren Buffett, if Warren Buffett had retired early, like nobody would have ever heard of him. Like, let's say he retired at the age of what was it? Let's say like the age of 50, he was worth $100 million, and that goes back like to the year 1985 or something, right? Or 1980 or 1985. People might have heard of him back then, but today nobody would have ever heard of Warren Buffett, right? Warren Buffett would have been like somebody that you would only know if you study finance or something. Like if he retired, I think it was like he had 100 million at age 50 and then a billion. So he 10x'd it at age 55. So in 5 years, he went from 100 million to a billion. And whatever he's worth now and so on, like hundreds of billions right now. And so, sometimes he hits the top spot of being the richest man in the world, these last 5 years or 10 years or so. Bounced around with Elon Musk, and I think just recently Larry Ellison from Oracle pushed Elon Musk down from #1, right? In terms of richest man in the world. But yeah, it's one of the things like sticking through it. That's the whole point of my thumbnail and so on. Billionaires don't cheat. Don't cheat. You might wreck yourself, right? Like I'm just saying, like if Warren Buffett had just cashed out and just went to retire early, like none of us would have ever heard of him, right? Hold very, very long style, yeah. Thumbnail, don't cheat like Warren Buffett, yeah. What are you saying? You're saying thumbnail in don't cheat like AI, Warren Buffett. Yeah, that was done with AI. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. What's going on, Mikey B? What's going on? Yeah, we're getting ready. Hopefully we're getting ready. It is my thesis that the run-up will not start until the government shutdown ends. So that's just me. I don't know. Because the ETFs are not going to launch until the government shutdown ends. And the ETFs are going to pump the market. Now, the interest rate cut should pump the market as well. But like I said, when I started the stream, I don't know how that works. Maybe I should have, maybe after the stream, I'll just have a conversation with Grok to figure it out. Because it's like the FOMC meeting usually examines the reports, right? So the Fed examines the economic reports. But we haven't had those economic reports. All those economic reports are just not coming through. As far as I know, I think some are, but most are not. When the ones related to inflation and jobs and so on, they're I don't know. I don't know how they would make a judgment off of interest rate cuts if there's no reports to review. So we'll see what happens. You know about him? He was a janitor. Everybody thought he was poor. He donated half of it when he passed. Yeah, Oh, so you know all about him, right? Yeah, interesting. Yeah, interesting. Who told me that recently? I was talking about this. Oh yeah, I was getting my hair cut. There was a woman cutting my hair last week, and she was talking about something like this, where her aunt lived really poor, like really like frugal and getting like charity clothing and stuff like that. And then after she passed away, they found out that she had like $2 million worth of stocks. It was like, holy crap. What are these people doing? I don't know. Like, why would you get so old, just not use some of the money and just live like that? I don't know. It's kind of nuts. You know, living like you don't have any money at all. You know, or living off of like $1,000 a month or whatever it is. You know, living poor, and yet you have like a few $1 million of stocks. It's nuts. Exactly. Perfect. Couldn't have said it better myself. Yeah. Sell Kaspa and go broke. Yeah, Kaspa's. I'm gonna slap you, man. Kaspa's cooked this cycle. You see, this is what I gotta deal with in my comments, man. Oh man. Kaspa may not have a good run up in this next couple of months. It may not. And it probably won't. If it does, I would be surprised if Kaspa starts flying in like November or December. If it does, I'll be surprised. But in the long run, I think it's going to be doing pretty good. Now, I've been given the argument that Kaspa is a proof of work, and it works very different with these exchanges in terms of like I was going to say Boing. I was going to say Binance and Coinbase. Going Boinbase. Coinbase and Binance and so on. Because they need to accumulate Kaspa tokens, and what I would imagine that they're doing, along with the rest of the market makers are doing, is that they're trying to make the price of Kaspa stay low very, very long so they can keep stacking it. And like they're gonna, it makes perfect sense. Like if you're like a billionaire and you're a market maker and you want Kaspa, you really are going to want the rest of all these, you know, Kaspa retail maxis to like get tired and get psychologically drained, so they can start selling and they can keep the price cheaper because they keep selling their Kaspa, and you're gonna want to buy it. I mean, it makes sense if you want to put yourself in the position of these market makers. You know, it is exactly what they would want to do. So, in this whole other extended cycle theory that I keep going into in a lot of my videos, or how I keep saying that this cycle is not going to end until 2027, and it wouldn't make sense for like Coinbase and Binance and Crypto.com to list Kaspa until the end of the cycle, until it's like within like reach of the end of the cycle, within a couple months of the end of the cycle. Now, if they don't believe the end of the cycle is this year, right? Like a whole bunch of 4-year cycle zombies, as I call them, then they're not going to be listing Kaspa this year. You know, if they're analyzing the market and the money supply and everything that's going on, and they're thinking that the end of the cycle is going to be a year from now or 2 years from now, then they're going to wait on it, and they're not going to list Kaspa for a very long time, and Kaspa is going to stay cheap for a very long time, and it's going to psychologically drain everybody, and then suddenly Kaspa is going to go ballistic. I mean, that's what I'm thinking is going to happen. So it happens. Oh, you're talking about it happens when, in terms of the people living like they're poor, and then, you know, they have millions of stocks. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it does happen. It's really weird. it might happen more than people think too, right? Because what if you have a loved one that passed away and they were like that and they have few million of stocks and they never told anybody. And then you just start throwing away like boxes of junk or something. And didn't realize like there are like stock certificates in there. You know, that could have, that would be crazy if that probably happens a lot. Like and nobody ever knows because the only person who knew was the one who passed away. And just goes straight to the garbage dump, right? Just to look at the charts, a massive sell-off, and we're close to the bottom. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. I know. It's just like I'm saying, it might stay low for a very long time. It might. I would be surprised if it starts shooting to the moon the next couple of months. But, and you know, it's fine by me, right? Because for those of you who are in my community or know about my community, well, we build a ton of software that like gets a lot of coins, all coins, meme coins, everything, RWAs, DeFi, everything at a very, very low market cap. Scans thousands of coins a day, and we're just get in. We get some huge multipliers, and I can't wait. I can't wait for things to fly in the next couple of months. Because we're gonna be making sick amounts of money. And geez, and I can just buy more Kaspa. And if Kaspa is gonna remain cheap, hey, why not? You know? Speaking of which, we got like I don't have one of those gem things open anyway. I mean, I have a serious lack of tabs prepared for this live stream right now. But we have like at this particular moment we have around 4 shiny new gems that had just came out over the last 2 weeks or so. I think, what is it, 4? No, 5. Because over the last week there was 4 of them, and the previous week there was another one. Very, very shiny new gems. One of them started pumping already, like yesterday, a little bit. And for those of you who want to get in, you know, now's the time. The track record that we have is absolutely amazing. And for anybody who was in my group, you know, we're doing any green month. Like in September, we were like overwhelmed. I think anybody who would join in the last 2 to 3 weeks, you know, nobody. Like those guys haven't experienced it yet over the last 2 or 3 weeks, because in September we're freaking overwhelmed. Like we get all-time high alerts, and like so many coins are pumping when they get close to all-time highs, right? We have like so much tech in my community that's beyond anything that any other community has. And hopefully that's going to happen again. It's going to be like flipping insane. Like in September we did the 550x on MYX, right? And we did the 10x on Avantis, and we did. It was like one after another, right? What was it like? How much did we do on Disco at this point? There's got to be more than a 12x. D-Agent AI on Sui, we did a 14x. I got to recalculate them because some of those have pumped again since I memorized the amount of X's for some of them. So we are freaking flying. So I still have low prices on the 3-month, yearly, and lifetime. Like I said, I'm gonna catch up to Crypto Archie. I can't copy his trades because I get in on a lot more trades a lot earlier than he does, but I can copy his prices. So, speaking of which, hit that like button on this video. I'll give you guys a deal. If I get 100 likes on this video by tomorrow, I won't raise these 3 prices for another week. But if I don't have 100 likes on this video by tomorrow, I'll raise these prices. Or maybe I'll raise just this one a little bit, because it doesn't make sense to have a monthly for $79 and the 3-month for $89. It's just too close. So hit that like button if you want to keep these prices cheap. Especially if you want to get in, you want to plan your budget. So yeah, but so where are we talking about here? What we got? Hold on. Oh yeah, I found, so this is the absolute goal of my community, is to get a very, very super huge yacht. And I actually forgot about something. This picture reminded me. A yacht needs a helicopter. We need a helicopter too. Yeah. Yeah. Although this is kind of weird. We have a helicopter here, like on this tiny yacht. This is kind of strange. Is that possible, or is this like a poorly generated AI? I think it's real, but I don't know. But we need a helicopter. I was watching the other day a video on YouTube of the 10 most luxurious yachts by, that are held by billionaires and so on. And one of those yachts has an actual submarine that dispatches from the yacht. I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. But yeah, this is the goal of my community, to get one of these bad boys. Look at that. This is beautiful. Look at this. Oh my God. Yeah. Exactly, right? So we have 97 members at this point. So the group is no longer small. It's getting there. I'm thinking I need to break off the premium membership, because I just have one role in the group. Like, anybody joins is a premium member. Because I say that if you want to DM me, you can just DM me. Just DM me first, because I can't send you a direct message first, because obviously, scammers try to contact people. So you have direct communication with me. But some groups have it so there's a different level of a package, so that you have to pay to have direct message contact with the admin. So I think my group gets, as it gets more members, I can't do this DM anymore thing, because I have a lot of private message conversations with people. Like I have like, for those of you in my group, like I have members in my group that really don't participate in the chats. They just DM me. Like, and they say they're really here for the tech, and they talk to me, and they're here for the insider alert and all the bots and everything that has, so, which is really good, right? So you can join a community. You don't necessarily have to participate in chat rooms and so on, because you have all this access to all this software. Plus, I have this other software where you can log in to my website if you're a member. So it's not just the Discord. You log into my website here at cryptorich.vip, and you can have access to swing trade software. But yeah, I think that I'm gonna have to split this up. Maybe this membership will remain as a premium member, where you can get DM access, and I'll make like a VIP tier that doesn't have DM access, and it'll be like a little bit less money. I don't know. We'll figure it out, because the amount of people joining the group is growing. Oh yeah, click that like button. Click that like button. I'm gonna punch you in the balls. Yeah. And this is not financial advice. I usually play this when I say nothing is financial advice. Remember, nothing is financial advice in this video. Nothing at all. But this is beautiful, isn't it? Oh my God, dude. How do you get more beautiful than this? Yeah, we gotta get one of those. ETH is above 4K. Is it right now? I just looked at it. I didn't even think about what it was, because I was thinking of gold. Okay, yeah. It's hit above 4K. Yeah, man, we'll see. I have my doubts that things are going to start flying this week, but we'll see. You never know. I don't know. Really doubtful, but we'll see. All right, the only reason the broke people living you're talking about died with millions in stocks is because of the long-term holding average of oh yeah, compounding. Yeah, of course. Yeah, when I leave you guys in my video, you know, I talk about stuff like that. Yeah. Compounding year over year, beating inflation. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it goes along with the thing is like, you know, don't cheat. Don't sell out early. And, you know, you could end up with a lot of money, with tons of money, right? Like I was saying, Warren Buffett, if he just retired at like age 55, none of us today, or maybe most of us, probably wouldn't have heard of him. You have to be like really into finance and so on to know about somebody who was, you know, rather successful back in like 1980 or something, like when he was like 55. But the point that I make is like these people get to an age of like 90 years old and they're still not cashing out. You would think that like you get to 70, 80, you would start using some of that money, you know? So, I mean, yeah, maybe it was like worth 8 million when he was 92, but maybe it was like, I don't know, 6 million when he was like 82 or something, you know, whatever the compounding effect was. But I mean, he could have used some of that money, use a couple of $1 million. But yeah, some people like that. Crazy. Why 2027 though? Why not the end of 2026? Very, very good question. Yeah, it's because of so QT in the US needs to end and QE needs to start. And the economists are saying that we're going to have peak QE. People think I say P. Peak as in the height. When I show the charts, I show it as the money supply top. I just say money supply top because it's just the top. It's like you look at 2020, it's just this huge spike in April. You know, that was the money supply top. So peak QE is going to be estimated to happen next year. Now, the Bitcoin top usually follows that by well over a year down the road, right? The first Bitcoin top was in June of 2011, where Bitcoin pumped 10,000x, and that's where a lot of people are starting to hear about it, right? There was like a huge burst of liquidity, like roughly 2 years right before that, 2.5 years. It was in 2009. Obviously, the great financial crisis was in the end of 2008. So, you know, we get huge bursts of liquidity and then we get the Bitcoin top. So it happened again. So we had a huge burst of liquidity in August of 2011, which is 2 months after the Bitcoin top. And then, again, you know, 2 years later, we had the Bitcoin top in 2013. So it happens like that. It's like a combination of very, very low interest rates. So in 2011, 2013, the interest rates were zero. And the same thing happened over and over again. It's like when in the 2017 top, interest rates were starting to be raised in 2017. So we enjoyed like a couple of years of zero interest rates during that 4-year 2017 cycle. So the first 2 cycles were 2.5 years. There's the third cycle was 4 years, the first 4-year cycle. So not all cycles are 4 years. I always like to point that out with these 4-year cycle zombies. And even though interest rates went up by 25 basis points, 50 basis points here and there, it still remained below the very low, you know, below 3% is what you need for the economy to pump and so on. Again, next cycle, 2019, interest rates were starting to go down again. A couple of cuts here and there, like 3 different 25 basis point cuts, because they were being raised right during 2017 and 2018, and abruptly we had COVID, huge burst again of money supply, huge burst of liquidity, stimulus, and sudden drop of interest rates to zero. And then again, so that happened in April of 2020. Again, we had our top in the end of 2021. It happens all over and over and again. And guys, as I throughout this year, when I keep researching this stuff and I look at it, I'm like, these are not crypto cycles. These are dollar cycles. I was like, these are just dollar cycles. It's nothing to do with crypto. Crypto is just another asset. Bitcoin is just another asset. So, we are not yet below, at this particular time, we're not yet below the 3% in interest rates that we need to stimulate the economy. And we have not yet started QE in the US. So if that hasn't happened yet, we're looking at 2027, if it's going to be happening next year. Interest rates are going to continue to drop continuously, right? Next couple months, a couple next year, and then Jerome Powell is going to be replaced in May, and they're going to continue to drop, and we're going to get QE. And what happens? What follows? A Bitcoin top over a year later, which goes along with a lot of these predictions that Bitcoin will be like 1.5 million in 2027. So, and that's what smart money is saying, right? You get all these people from Bitwise and BitMEX and what is ARK Invest, right? Kathy Wood. You get all these people and they're talking about 2027 as if it's something, interesting to keep our eye on. Now, things in 2026 could pump like crazy as well, with higher highs, higher lows, because we're going to get slammed with tons of ETFs, and central banks around the world have been pumping their money supplies already, and that's been happening throughout this year. Now, if it takes like over a year to affect crypto, then the burst of liquidity from the central banks all around the world this year is going to affect crypto next year. So higher highs, higher lows, maybe some corrections, goes up, going to come back down, keep increasing crypto market cap. And then the United States has the burst of liquidity. And then you have a top, you have your top. And you have a total crypto market cap that's not like 3.6 trillion like it is today, right? You have a total crypto market cap that's probably like 30 trillion or something like that. Something that's like unbelievable by our thought processes today. You're going to have something huge. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens in the next. Things are going to get interesting. Starting with these with the rate cuts. I really wonder what's going to happen next week if there's no economic reports. Yeah. If things are delayed because of the government shutdown, because the ETFs are not going to pump the market, and who knows what's going to happen and when it's going to start. It could be like mid-November before things start to really, really pump. And then it's like, yeah, this run up right now will top off in January, no doubt. But you also have the other situation where if things start pumping in mid-November, you have all these 4-year cycle zombies. They're going to want to sell everything as soon as they can because they don't want to wreck themselves, but they're going to sell. They just don't believe that this cycle could be longer than 4 years because this is what they've been told. And they don't look into anything other than that. All they know is what the influencers told them. And they're just like, the cycle ends in 4 years. I mean, it's like, and it's really weird. Like, all you have to do to look at the cycles, the first 2 cycles were 2.5 years. So it's really weird that people have this brainwash mentality into 4-year cycles. I even seen Benjamin Cohen, who's extremely intelligent, of course, and he's really good with TA. I even saw him talk about the January 2011 top the June 2011 top as if it was rather sort of insignificant. And he was like, oh, it all depends. He was showing the chart. He's like, all depends on how you want to call this right here. If you want to consider this a different top, then the 2013 cycle was 2 years. If not, then you're looking at this as a 4-year cycle. It's like that. almost like he's acknowledging it's there, but he's sort of disregarding it at the same time. That first Bitcoin top, not in terms of dollars, but in terms of multipliers, it was the most violently aggressive top that Bitcoin ever had. It went from 1/3 of a cent to $33 as a 10,000x. Like Bitcoin never had multipliers like that in any other top, any other run up at all. And you can't really disregard it. And then it's like, okay, why did that happen? And it goes back to what I've been saying. Okay, what preceded it? We have this burst of liquidity in the money supply. So it's just, I don't know. We'll see. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I don't know. We're gonna have these. We're definitely gonna have these 4-year cycle zombies. They're gonna sell their bags and they're gonna sort of suppress the pumps, probably the initial pumps in November, and they're gonna create resistance. You know, they're gonna see those candles go up, and they're gonna create a lot of resistance because they're gonna be selling their bags. And then when a lot of them have gotten through with it and they've gotten out of their system, like, okay, I'm sold, I'm happy, and I'm just going to ride off into the sunset, they're going to see it pump even more. And then we're like, whoa, wait, what's going on? This is my thought was going to happen. These 4-year cycle zombies are going to be happy and be like, oh, I sold before it went back down. And then it's like a few weeks later, they're going to be like, wait a minute, maybe I sold too early. I really think that's going to happen. But we'll see. I could be wrong. So, yeah, they always say crazy numbers. In 2017, they said they were saying 50K and even 100K. And in 2021, they were talking about, oh, you're talking about Bitcoin? Yeah, I mean, one thing with Tom Lee, the, like the Michael Saylor of Ethereum, he was saying Bitcoin was going to reach 100K in right now, back in 2020, back in 2017 or whatever it was. He was saying in 2025, Bitcoin was going to reach 100K. He was right about that. People thought he was crazy. I think that sometimes they make wild predictions for certain years, which is true sometimes, or sometimes it's not. I think it's interpreted as wild because, like if you're in the year 2017 and you're saying Bitcoin is going to reach 100K, people are thinking you're crazy. But if you're not saying it's going to reach 100K right now, you're saying it's going to reach 100K in 2025. So you get lumped together with craziness, I guess. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah, well, let's go. Larry Fink is calling for 15 trillion crypto market cap this bull run. Yeah, actually, I would imagine. I mean, it's hard to say how many trillions it's going to be, right? Yeah, I know. They always throw out huge numbers. I mean, we have to think right now. We have large institutions, we have governments buying Bitcoin. The game has changed. I mean, we potentially have the idea that the total crypto market cap is going to overtake the value of the total stock market cap, right? Globally, the global stock market cap is probably going to be smaller than crypto just because of this type of adoption, right? It's going to get to a point where like everybody's going to buy crypto. Not everybody buys stocks, right? Just in terms of retail. And you can use crypto to pay for things. You know, you can't buy Tesla stock and say, okay, I'm going to send you some Tesla stock to buy that laptop I want to buy from you. You know, you really wouldn't do something like that. I mean, I guess you can, but I mean, you really wouldn't do that. But you can do that with crypto. So it's going to be adopted more by retail just because of that. And it's going to be, you know, it's being bought by governments as well. So if governments are going to be stocking crypto, you know, states and states in the US and nation states worldwide are going to be buying crypto. It's not like governments are going around buying Microsoft stock and Tesla stock. You know, it's like it's not like that. It's not like that. So you got more money that's going to flow into crypto than the global stock market. which is I don't know what it was, 120 trillion right now. So it could crypto could overtake the stock market globally. So we'll see. You're a 4-year cycle zombie. He says, I'd love to be proven wrong. And personally, I'm a 4-year cycle zombie. Right now, we have 1,064 days was on the top, and Bitcoin, I swing trade all the other way, so I'm not stuck on my. I see what she's saying. Yeah, yeah. I mean, and with these 4-year cycle zombies, the Bitcoin top has already been made, right? And my argument to that right there is that, you know, the institutions are still buying Bitcoin. They're still buying, you know, BlackRock and so on, and Strategy. They're still buying. You know, if you believe you're at the top, why would you buy at the top? So that's what I say right there. If these market makers are still buying, they're expecting it to go up. So, yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of things like, especially, I think this is really done by the influencers, because if you look at all the statements by people, you know, the big shots at crypto exchanges and investment firms, and they're all saying that this 4-year cycle theory is done, or we're in an extended cycle. The only people who are really saying that we have 4-year cycles are influencers. Like I'm, you know, I grab my Roku remote and I browse videos from different influencers. There's probably like I don't know, a good 15 of them that you know, I watch here and there, and almost all of them are talk about the 4-year cycle. It's just influencers, as far as I know. Like any of the people you would consider market makers and the billionaires and those type of people, they don't talk about the 4-year cycle, and they don't talk about the top always happening in November, which is not even true. Is like if there's already been 4 cycles, only one of them has happened in November, which is the last one. The first was in June, the second and third was in December, and the fourth was in November. So then this is only talked about by influencers, by people. I don't know. I don't get it. And you have Benjamin Cohen, who sort of like disregards the idea that the June 2011 top was really a top. He tells his audience it's whatever you want to consider it. He's like that, but at least he acknowledges it. Like the only guy on YouTube, besides me, of course, the only guy on YouTube that actually acknowledges there was a Bitcoin top in 2011. It's crazy. That's what the market is doing. Yeah, you have to adapt to what the market is doing. Yeah, adapt to it. Yeah. And I go where the volume goes, and I max your V. Yeah. Keep it super simple. Just higher highs. I was going to go through all these stories. I mean, I can go through, some of this. Christopher Koch, the man who bought 5,000 Bitcoin for $27. I was talking about hodling and people who didn't cheat, and look where it got them, right? He invested $27 back in 2009. And he got 5,000 Bitcoin for $27. And then he sort of forgot about it and realized that, when Bitcoin was making the news in 2013, he realized it grown to over 880,000. So yeah, and he sold some of it to get a luxury apartment, and he kept the rest. So yeah, that's he didn't cheat out. So that's the whole point of my thumbnail and so on. There's another one here. What's this? Mr. Smith. Yeah, he's anonymous. Mr. Smith. And he invested $3,000 in 2010 in Bitcoin. Was only 15 cents. So he must have heard of Bitcoin in that first run up, right? So within just a few months, Bitcoin went from a third of a cent to $33, right? So he must have just heard of it during that time frame, and he got it at 15 cents. $3,000, which means he had 20,000 Bitcoin. He said, I knew from the start that he was playing the long game, right? I want to see how high it would go. He had almost forgotten about his investment 3 years later, and it popped up in the news again, right? It popped up in the news. He sold 2,000 coins when it hit $350, and he kept the rest. He spent his time traveling the world. So this is all you people, just think about this when you're thinking about selling your Kaspa, right? I mean, if you do want to trade other coins and you want to make money right now, yeah, sure, and buy more Kaspa. There's another one. Eric Finman is a venture capitalist who made history as the youngest Bitcoin billionaire at age 18. So this guy has an interesting story. At 12 years old, Eric made his first crypto investment. His grandmother gave him $1,000 for his college fund, which instead he put into Bitcoin. At age 15, he dropped out of high school and moved to San Francisco to start Botangle, an education startup that provides better alternative educational system that Finman left. So yeah, 12 years old. He's like, to hell with college, I'm going to buy some Bitcoin. And became a billionaire at age 18. Not millionaire, but billionaire. That is absolutely amazing. We got some Litecoin stories. Two with with lower highs and lower lows, and then you short. Yeah. Just scared. It's going down. Yeah. Yeah, this is true. The influencers know nothing. The smart money does. Yeah. And even though I've been pointing this out for the last, I don't know how many months, 8 months or 9 months or whatever, almost this entire year, I also didn't understand why. At the same time, I was discovering why these bursts of liquidity and caused the Bitcoin top. At the same time, I've been going through all this. I was also making fun of Grayscale for having Zcash as one of their preferred assets. I was like, what the hell? They have this fossilized Dino token on their asset list, and it's been dead for 8 years, right? And then look at it. Zcash has been pumping like crazy the last couple of weeks. It's because Zcash is like an OG privacy coin, and it started pumping because there's a privacy narrative right now, apparently. And I was like, well, that's smart money. They don't call it smart money for nothing. They didn't get their billions for nothing, right? So apparently Zcash was one which would have pumped, and it did. 4-year cycle is broken, yeah. I mean, yeah, you're asking, should we get more Kaspa, right? The question is, should you sell Kaspa right now? And I would say the answer is no. I mean, just look at it. Kaspa is why would you sell at the bottom? I don't know. It's not a bad coin, It's not something that's it's never going to go anywhere. So you have the most bottom of the bottom prices right now that you can get. Why not just stack it? And like I said, this is not financial advice. It all depends on your situation, right? If you're 18 years old and you're working at McDonald's and you're putting $20 a week into crypto, you're probably going to have a mix of let's say half. Let's say you got a $3,000 portfolio. You probably want to have half of it in the safer ones like Bitcoin and Ethereum and so on, and Solana. Maybe the other half into really risky meme coins to see if you can increase your portfolio rapidly. That's one option. Or you can just say, okay, look, I know Kaspa is going to be amazing in 2027 or the next few years, and you can just put that $20 a week into Kaspa and be like, I'm okay with working at McDonald's for the next few years because 3 years from now I'm going to be a Kaspa millionaire. You can do that too. So it all depends on your situation. Just analyze it. But I guess the point is that Kaspa is not a bad project, and it may not pump right now. I don't think it will. It may not pump for the next couple months. I don't think it will. And I could be wrong, but I don't think it will. But it's not a bad project, and it's like the lowest prices you can get. These prices are amazing. I wish I knew they were going to go this low. I thought that Kaspa was going to go higher than this, way before, like a while ago. Like I was over there spending lots and lots of freaking money, cashing out Bitcoins. I sold my excavator, things like that to buy more Kaspa, and I was buying it at like 10 or 11 cents. Like I wish like somebody had just gone back in time to that time period and told me just wait and just buy it, like at 5 cents. It's going to go down to 5 cents again. So, I mean, yeah, you got, there's an opportunity out there. I mean, but it's all up to you and your situation. Those stories are there for Ethereum and BNB too. That's the top 3 performers of all time. And there's also anomalies. A lot of coins don't survive multiple cycles where they become very stagnant. Yeah, no. Oh yeah, there's I had this article pulled up. This article is from 2021. It was in 2021. 137 wallet addresses were worth over $10 million in terms of Litecoin. So yeah, there's stories like that too. Obviously, there's stories like that for Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, Solana. There's a lot of stories and other projects that didn't go through. I was sort of like a Digibyte maxing in the 2017 cycle. And then in the 2021 cycle, I didn't even care to even check into it. Digibyte. Right. And maybe we just pull up CoinMarketCap. And I was surprised. And it was like usually most coins don't beat their previous all-time high in their second bull run. And Digibyte did. I was like, right? And this is a made in America token too. This was a layer 1. It was touted as being, better than Bitcoin and so on. And it was faster than Litecoin. Obviously not nowhere near as fast as Kaspa, but it's a proof of work, layer 1, faster than Litecoin. And I was absolutely shocked that its all-time high in 2021 beat its all-time high in 2020, was it made in 2018, January 10th. So crazy though. I mean, I don't think anybody even knows about it this cycle, but I don't know. Could be wrong. I have no idea. I was surprised to see this happen. I thought it was a dead token. I didn't hold it in the previous cycle. Yeah, but other tokens just phase out. I remember there's a lot of tokens I had years ago just phased out. I remember Mooncoin. It was a fork of Litecoin. Kaspa keeps stacking. 10, 11 cents was very late. Yeah, I know. I mean, like I thought during the Trump pump last year with the run up, I thought it was going to go up to 50 cents. Like I was wrong. Things like that caused me to look into everything and just look into like what causes a cycle, and I started believing it couldn't be the halving. I just started looking at things like that because that halving theory didn't make sense, that the top is caused by the halving. If I knew then what I know now about what causes a cycle and how I call it a dollar cycle, not a crypto cycle, it would have been different. But hey, that's just the way it is. Besides, when I wanted to get myself into buying Kaspa, I was looking at it, It was like 4 cents. It was like October of 2 years ago. Man, it's been 2 years already. When I decided to make the move, like end of October, I believe it was, and then like early November, it pumped to like 9 cents, and like it just, for me, it's just like it never came back down. I'm like, okay, I want to start buying it. I'm like, whatever. Will pump in the spring back to its all-time high. And look, yeah, it's hard to say when it's going to pump. Yeah, it's totally hard to say when it's going to pump. I mean, these guys should hold in a large amount, and that's what I don't like. Plus, the community can't even get point. Yeah, I don't know that. I agree with the Mexi thing and so on, holding a lot of Kaspa, but it was like I was saying at the beginning of the stream, like if you're a market maker and you're a billionaire, you're going to want to squeeze out the market, and you want to have everybody's drop to their psychological bottom. It's so like psychologically drained, so you can keep Kaspa's cheap, so you can keep stacking it, right? And then these exchanges like Coinbase and Binance and Crypto.com, like there's no reason that they would actually list Kaspa until before they believe the top is going to happen within a couple of months. And if they believe, like I do, the top is going to happen like way out, like 2027, Kaspa is not going to be listed anytime soon. Just put yourself into the mind of a market maker and think how they think, right? And in the mind of the centralized exchange, right? They have to. It's a proof of work. They have. There's no pre-mine, right? So pre-mine is like when it's the opposite of a pre-mint. Well, not the opposite, but I'm just saying it's sort of like a pre-mint with a token. But a pre-mine is like the founders of the project, of a proof of work project, start mining it, and they get tokens out for themselves, and they give it to centralized exchanges, right? So there's nothing like that. So these exchanges have to buy it themselves. They have to stack it, and what they would want to do is they want to keep stacking and then keep it at a low price. Get people psychologically drained so that people start selling. All these Kaspa maxis start selling, and then when they know the cycle top is going to happen, which is probably 2027, they're gonna list it, and they're gonna have lots and lots of Kaspa that they accumulated for years at a cheap price, because people were just getting sick of Kaspa because it wasn't pumping and it wasn't getting exchanges, and they just sold, and they kept the price very, very low. So Minecraft. Oh, really? It was your favorite? Oh yeah. Did you stay into it in the 2021 cycle? I mean, in the past with me, I had very few coins. It was always a hand. It's only now that I have lots and lots of coins, because like of the software in my community, we actually scan thousands of coins, and it's like the goal is to find every single goddamn coin that can and will pump at least to 100 million. It's like that's what we get. So many, like 50x's and 100x's. That's I imagine that my group in like 6 months is going to be it's going to be a lot. Like, it's actually sizable right now to have 97 members. I don't imagine it'll be like 900 members in a couple of months or so, because the reputation is getting out there with the amount of multipliers out there. Plus, I didn't even mention that I have a $1,000 bounty for anybody who can find another community that has the same type of software and same type of track record as mine, the amount of plays, right, the same type of tech. If you can find it, it will be an easy $1,000, and you can buy more Kaspa or buy whatever you want. Just follow me on X. We'll DM each other. You tell me what the group is, I'll join. And if they have the type of tech that I have, then I'll send you $1,000 and any token you want, whether it be Digibyte or Kaspa or Neo or whatever. ICX. Great times, right? Digibyte, yeah. Yeah, I'm still holding it. I mean, nothing here is financial advice. I mean, you guys can do what you want, but I'm still holding. I'm not going to sell Kaspa. Like, I don't need to. Like, like I'm talking about, like the amount of plays that are in my community. If you guys don't know, yeah, if you're watching this live stream for the first time, yeah, I mean the amount of, this is from last year. I mean, look at these multipliers. Look at these coins, right? This is so this is me who called it here. This is the insider alert, which is one of our advanced bots that found these coins, right? We have 2 new bots, and we're getting more and more accurate as time goes on, right? And we just, like my community members say, they get overwhelmed at times. So we get these all-time high alerts to let us know that our coin is pumping, right? So we can decide whether or not we want to take profits. And it's like, you know, it's like sometimes when we have a green month like September, it was freaking amazing. It was like, it was unbelievable. He's driving nuts. One guy said it's like a full-time job. I'm like, yeah, it's going to be a full-time job from one of these yachts, and man, I'll be having fun. The full-time job with all these coins, man. You imagine, it's like you take $10,000, divide it up into 100, take $100 each into 100 different coins. And like almost all of them are going to pump like 20x or 50x, or, and then in the case of MYX, we did a 550x already. We didn't even have the run up. We did a 550x with on MYX. It's like absolutely amazing. So anybody who joined late, obviously I raised this monthly price. I didn't raise the other prices on these other tiers. Doesn't make sense to have 79 a month and then 89 a month for 3 months. So I'll probably raise this a little bit. But my intention is to raise all 3 of these tomorrow. If I can get 100 likes on this video by tomorrow morning when I wake up, I'll leave these prices for the next, like the next, you know, the next week. I'll raise the prices next weekend. So click that like button. Nano, yeah, I remember Nano, yeah. I didn't buy into it. XNO, I don't recall that ticker. But Nano, I remember, yeah. Yeah, I didn't buy too many coins back in the day. I didn't buy, you know, I had just a few. Even at the beginning of this cycle, I only had a few. It's how I began to have a bag of turbo that was so large, because I think that, you know, I had less coins, but I put more money into those less coins. And then it's like, you know, we started making the software, and then we just started finding crazy amounts of coins. So, yeah, we'll see. Yeah. Had to wait a year to make a bit of profit. It was Poloniacs. Yeah, I'd have made it wait a year. Yeah. Billy Bong, what's going on? You're late. I've been talking to you for like an hour, man. I've been talking to you for how long? A couple hours? I don't know. What's going on, y'all? Yeah, I don't have anything else pulled up, do I? This is Cointelegraph. No, we have that. Have our yachts. We have a helicopter here. What's Disco doing? Disco is one of our recent plays. That's what I'm saying, guys. Imagine being a group where sometimes you get like 50x calls, 20x calls, 100x calls, like sometimes a couple, multiple times in a week, or sometimes a couple times in a day. We got over the last 10 days, there are like what I consider like 5 different shiny new coins that are going to pump. They're getting tons of centralized exchanges. They have good backing, good investors, good narratives. And as soon as the market turns green, we're going to like freaking fly. I mean, I would imagine we're going to fly. I can't imagine any single one of them less than 10x, you know, next month. So probably a whole lot more. I would realistically, I imagine a couple 100x's or more, because we get in so goddamn low. Like Disco, we were stacking it from launch. And what is it right now? So how far do we get up? So 2.5 million, 2.6 million at so one of my members said they got in like really low back here, like we were stacking it when it was going down here. So let's say you got into a 70K. Hold up, let me pull up a calculator. Pull up some numbers. All right, I got a calculator. So let's say we got in. So let's say 2.6 million divided by 70. This is a 37x. Like I cashed out. Imagine 37x just from this one. Pretty cool, right? It was like, and we had so many plays like this, right? I cashed out around here. I sold half my bag. Hold on. Oops. Yeah, around. Yeah, it was going up. I was like, okay, I'm gonna sell half my bag. But the damn thing is still pumping. It's it went down just yesterday. I was pumping again, so it's amazing. And it was like, Jesus Christ! You find a community like mine, you get $1,000. I dare you, right? I dare you. And this is not to sound arrogant. This is like just to sound like realistic. Like I dare you to. I'll give you $1,000 if you find any community that has a tech like mine. Hold on, I got a bunch of comments coming in. Hold up. Just made 301,000 Kaspa. What do you mean? Just made 300? Made it how? Hey, that knot coin looking good. I told you about a few. Was it not? Not is on ton, right? You're talking about Neptune, right? It's not. I think the ticker's. Oh yeah, you said it right here. Yeah, NTP. Yeah. Are you talking about that ton coin called Not? I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Kaspa's 25 chart looks like 2015, right? So if Kaspa does what Bitcoin did in 2016, we can expect Kaspa to head higher in 2027, I think you mean, right? I mean, it's possible. I wouldn't like try to match Kaspa to a Bitcoin chart from years ago too much because it's a really different, it's a different space. Like back then it was just like every exchange just listed Bitcoin because that was the thing. So it's Kaspa has, it's a whole different ecosystem right now. A lot of competition and, like I said, the market makers probably want their share and they want to keep it the price low. My throat is getting dry. The script you have calls out in Discord channel. Yeah, I have multiple advanced bots in a Discord channel. So I always like to give the perfect example of Farcoin. I thought it was on the report that we get every day in this channel called the Insider Alert. So that was the first bot that we had. It was last year. The first bot that scans like, thousands of tokens and so on. So if one of them doesn't catch a coin, another one will, in terms of, the algorithms are like very different and what they do. So Farcoin, I thought it was stupid and I didn't play it, but I had members that saw that and played it and they made tons of money. So, but typically since then, because we realized that some people were getting in at the wrong entry point and so on, and maybe not buying, like we have a channel called the Insider Alert chat channel. So we have the Insider Alert channel that gets the reports every day, once a day. And then we have the Insider Alert chat channel where we discuss what looks good and what doesn't look good and what we're going to make a move on, right? Because not everything is good. The point is that these bots, they pull out things that are going to look pretty good. They look like they have a good chance of pumping. And some of them you know, we take a look and we're like, oh, maybe not, maybe that one isn't good. But yeah, where Forecoin was one of them. Yeah, I've got a ton of KRC20s. I gotta look back into that with this whole smart contracts things. That was one I really like. I'm really sleeping on this layer 2 stuff with Kaspa. Like I'm not even caring now. Yeah, I had trouble with using it in, you know, what was the site? Was the site where you connect your Casware and then bridge over to MetaMask, and it was taking like 15 minutes every time I did it. And then somebody told me it's better to do that over Kaspa bot and Dispense. So I just brought myself up to speed last week with Dispense bot, but I haven't really done the whole Kaspa bot thing. But yeah, I think eventually those KRC20 tokens are going to fly too. Eventually, not right now. But I got a ton of them. I got a significant amount, quite a few of them. These KRC20s. Always wanted to take profits. Exactly. ECA, 4 years Kaspa will be $15. Exactly, yeah. That's what I'm saying. So you don't even go in them yourself sometimes? Oh, you're talking about the Farcoin situation? Well, that was last year. So when we're like right now, we're leaps and bounds ahead of all, you know, the tech and all the software. Like there's so many upgrades that have happened over the last 12 months, right? So the last run up was amazing. We didn't even realize what we had. Like we have like an absolute, what do you call it? Like I don't know the fountain of youth, but like a Midas touch or something like that. We have some, whatever the word is, you know. We have a money printer, you know, and we have like a money printer in our community. So, and we didn't realize how powerful it was. Like I didn't know that Farcoin was captured by this insider alert and sent to us, and I had no idea. And it ended up going to do an 86x at its peak, and but yeah, we've been refining it to, you know, get in on earlier on these coins as well. So we don't get in at like a 30 million market cap now. Now we get in like sometimes under $1 million. Like in the case of Disco, we got in like at launch, you know, getting like 70K market cap. So if Disco happens to get centralized exchanges, is not doing it yet, even though it's pumping. If Disco becomes the next Brad or something like that in the run up, you know, we're talking about 10,000x. So we know with Disco, but I don't think Disco, that's going to happen with Disco. But the point is that we get in that early with these coins that we do fly. Like we got 550x on MYX. We found it at 6 million market cap. 6 million market cap went to 3 billion, and it did that over a course of just 4 months. Yeah, I think I'm gonna slow. So yeah, I'm running out of my pineapple juice. I think it's time for me to call it a day. Remember, guys, if you I'm gonna leave you with that video about Ronald Reed. Sometimes I leave you guys with one of those videos that I made in the past. You know, comparison to Warren Buffett and stuff like that. But if I wake up tomorrow and I see 100 likes on this video, I'm not gonna raise these prices for the 3-month, the yearly, and the lifetime. So if there's not 100 likes tomorrow morning on this video, then you expect these prices to be raised. So click that like button if you want those prices to stay smaller. You got it, dude. Yeah. If you want those prices to stay low, click that like button. And I'm gonna catch you guys later. Here's that video.
Ronald Reed, you know, a retired gas station attendant, had just passed away. Nothing about his life was extraordinary, except for the fact that he was like worth $8 million. This was a surprise to much of Reed's local community. His stepson told the press he was a hard worker, but I don't think anybody had any idea that he was a multimillionaire. So Reed didn't have that type of career path that you typically associate with a multimillionaire. So how did he pull it off? Well, here are the 3 techniques that made him wealthy. He seemed to have a reputation for being extremely frugal. He likely could have given Warren Buffett, who is famously frugal by the way, a run for his money. Reed's friends remember him driving a second-hand car and using safety pins to hold his worn-out coat together. He continued to cut his own firewood well after his 90th birthday. It's a painfully straightforward approach. Spending less money than you earn leaves you with more money to invest and generate wealth over the years through more investment. Reed's friend and neighbor said,
I'm sure if he earned $50 a week, he probably invested 40.
And that leads us to the second technique on the list, which is investments. After he died, the Wall Street Journal analyzed Reed's personal portfolio. They discovered that many of his possessions were held for several years, if not decades, and had delivered immense returns over that period. Reed's portfolio included heavyweights like Wells Fargo, Procter & Gamble, and Colgate-Palmolive. Again, here's another parallel between Reed and Buffett. If those names sound familiar, it's probably because you've seen some of them on Buffett's portfolio too. In fact, Berkshire Hathaway had a sizable position in Wells Fargo for several years, and Procter & Gamble is still a part of their portfolio. Both investors had prioritized holding long-term positions in undervalued and overlooked companies. That's what helped Reed create his multi-million-dollar fortune. And for both investors, the key ingredient was time and patience. And the third technique on the list is longevity. Ronald Reed lived to 92 and Buffett is 92 years old now. Both investors benefit immensely from living and working longer than average. In fact, 90% of Buffett's fortune was generated after his 60th birthday. If he had retired early in his 50s, most people never would have heard of Warren Buffett. The power of compounding is magnified over long periods of time. In other words, investing for longer is more likely to deliver better returns. Buffett's compounded annual growth rate of 9.17% would have turned $1,000 into $9,000 in 25 years and $13,930 years. To be fair, none of us can control how long we live unless we try to eat healthy all the time. Instead, starting early and staying in the market for as long as possible is probably the best strategy. It's also advisable to let your winners ride for longer. Taking profits too early or trading your positions too frequently adds costs and diminishes the power of compounding. So let's take that to heart. Live below your means, invest what you have left over, and stay healthy.
And click that like button.